Where do you see the video game industry headed?
The games industry is in a very interesting spot right now. The biggest problem that they're facing is that production costs are just totally out of control. Most new games are taking years and years to develop, and their budgets are going from like $1 million to 10 plus $100 million games.
Why do you think in the last few years gaming has like exploded?
Gaming is bigger now than it's ever been. Really what we're seeing is the accessibility of games is dropping really, really low. You rewind back 20 years and you can't really have a quality gaming experience without a great console, a great PC.
What do you think about the whole AI like technology being used in gaming?
It's coming whether we like it or not. From a business perspective, almost every ex-dev outside of like prime development company is trying to sell you something AI related, 100%. Whether it's helping you create assets, helping you manage your communities. I think there's a lot of hesitancy to it because there is this feeling that it's interrupting the artistry of games. Like nobody wants like the art in a game to be generated by AI because it's going to feel inauthentic, right? But there's a big body of people that are like the actual programming side of it. It's like pretty much harmless, and you would never know from a consumer perspective if part of your game was vibe coded.
Welcome to the HasMedia podcast, the #1 marketing podcast and business podcast in the world. I'm owner Has.
And I'm Okan Haas.
And our guest today is Justin Scerbo.
Hello, everyone. How's it going, you guys?
What's up, Justin?
Thank you so much for having me on today.
Of course.
Absolutely, man.
Justin, you own 5 businesses. I'm not going to even pretend to act like I can name all of them. How'd you get started into becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, it's an interesting journey. I mean, after I got into college, I was trying to figure out what my path was. And I never really like connected with any of the jobs that I was getting into. I went to school for journalism. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was very connected to the video game industry. You know, as an enthusiast, I'm playing games, I'm doing all this kind of stuff. But I always wanted to make it something more significant in my life. Like I wanted to be involved in the industry really bad. Mm-hmm. So I started writing blog posts and, doing news and reviews and things like that. I eventually got the attention of, it's funny, I'll never forget her name. Her name is Ashley Kristoff. She used to work for the Electronic Software Association, which is like this big managing body of the games industry. And they run events like E3 from back in the day. Mm-hmm. And she started sending me invitations to go to these major events, like these big conventions and stuff. So that was kind of like a turning point where I was like, holy shit, this feels like real. After I started going to a couple of events, my now business partner, his name's also Justin Chow.
So there's 2 Justins.
2 Justins, yeah.
Gotcha.
So we both go to one of these events at E3 and we're just like having a time, we're writing reviews, we're like interviewing these people, trying to be like kind of a media outfit, but total imposter syndrome, like no business being there whatsoever. And when we got in, there was this one night where we're like standing on like the balcony of this like fancy ass hotel that we're hanging out at. And we're just like, we kind of made this pact and we were like, we need to make this our whole lives. Like we need to figure this out. So that was back in 2011. And then since then, he and I have just kind of been on this journey to really sort of like entrench ourselves in this industry and really sort of like develop ourselves that way. So since then, we made a PR company. This was our first company. It was called The Zero Review, right? And this was like PR news and reviews and all this kind of stuff. And it was cool. I mean, it really attached us to the industry. It got us a seat at the table with a lot of big companies and like kind of made it feel a little bit more legitimate. Mm-hmm. But what ended up happening there is, we started running this site. We're getting a couple thousand people that are visiting our site. And we quickly realized, this was like 2014, we're not making any money doing this. Like, this sucks, There's like, this is not a sustainable trajectory. So during that process, we started to convert that brand into a company that we run now, which is called Crit Rate. Crit Rate is a gaming personality profile recommendation engine. It basically allows you to find games from like-minded individuals and like get games recommended to you, right? Because discovery was a huge issue in the games industry for a long time. There's tens of thousands of games that are released all the time. So how do you find something that's to your tastes, right? So we created this site, had a bunch of users come in, they learn about themselves, they find other people in their community, and it ended up being really successful. We have over 12,000 users on the site now.
It's crazy.
It's cool. And it was cool to see the response. We did a bunch of events at like PAX East, which is this big event in Boston. Mm-hmm. And that ultimately spun out into like, we had all of these users and all of this data and we're like, what do we do with this, right? So as we started talking to some of our friends in the development and publishing space, they were like, hey, like, could we use some of your people to playtest? You know, we have this new game. We want to see if the concept works out and all this stuff. And we were like, yeah, like let's go for it. So since then, we've really developed that into this like pretty substantial playtesting outfit where we have users that get to try games super early. They get to play. We pay them for their time. And from the developer perspective, they get these really deep insights on what their game is, how people are receiving it, how to properly market it, all this kind of stuff. So that's been a journey. Alongside that, sorry, this is very long.
No,
you're good, man.
Alongside of that, somewhere in the process, we have a lot of different passions, right? Justin, my business partner, he is very aesthetically minded, right? He's very good at branding. He knows how to like create an identity for things, which is awesome. He's extraordinarily good at it. I call him deadly charismatic because if you're in a room with him, like he's going to be your friend and it's not up to you, you know? So through the process, I got really, and I feel like my passions for like certain parts of the industry kind of like helped nurture some of these business ideas. So somewhere along the line, I was really into modifying retro game consoles, you know, like cracking them open, adding new ports and stuff, soldering stuff together. And I started to show Justin, I'm like, dude, you can do this crazy stuff. You can get this amazing video quality out of these consoles, but the technical barrier is so high, right? You have to do you have to know how to solder. You have to like, you know, you're risking damaging your old, 20-year-old consoles and all this sort of stuff. So then we started talking. We're like, I wonder if we can make this into like a mass market product, like something that everybody can use. So our first product that we developed, we created a brand called EON Gaming, and we started developing adapters, plug-and-play HDMI adapters for retro video game consoles. Our first one was for the GameCube, wow. And it was funny, man. Like the
SSX tricky, right?
Yeah, it's exactly right.
How long ago did you start that? So
that was in 2018. So again, I was just kind of like messing with consoles and stuff, and in 2018 we were like, hey, there's a real opportunity here, because like again, there's this whole world that people are involved in games. Everybody plays games, so on some level you have some memory attached to it. But again, there's this weird barrier. Like if you want to plug a GameCube into a TV right now, you have to use like the red, white, yellow composite cables, and you get this like, can we curse?
Yeah.
You get this really shitty video quality out of it. There's all this input lag. It's a terrible experience. So like, if you remember like, oh man, I used to play like Super Smash Brothers Melee back in the day and it was so great, and you try to play it now, you're like, this sucks. It's like, it's not at all what you want it to be.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of getting something like that for here.
Yeah. Dude, I'll set you up. Like, you have no idea, dude. I've got like 200 GameCubes on my basement. It's ridiculous. So we started to develop this product, and we found this technology that allowed it to be like, to take what was an internal mod and turn it into a plug and play adapter.
Wow.
And what's funny is at the time that we got into it.
And you went to school for journalism.
Yeah. But again, it's just when you're passionate about something, you just learn it, right?
So true.
So we found this technology. It was like, this GitHub repository is this video encoder called GC Video, and then we use this other piece of software called Shuricon Video, which basically like fools the GameCube into thinking that there's a component cable plugged into it. And we worked with these factories out in China, started to develop prototypes for this adapter, and it came back and it was just awesome, like an absolutely seamless experience. That's okay. It's all good. So we got this prototype and we're like, this thing is fantastic. Like, now we need to like get it to the market. Now there's a bunch of other enthusiasts in this space that try to make products for people. And what they end up doing is they'll make like 3D printed little versions of stuff. They'll make like 50 of them and sell them to like these closed Reddit groups. And we're like, this is not scalable. How could you possibly scale something like this? Whatever.
Yeah, I don't think it'll actually pick up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we're like, there's no way that this kind of thing can scale, So what we ended up doing was made a super fine finished product, injection molded plastic, really great packaging. With like, our box looks like a GameCube, like it's this whole thing. And before doing any pre-order or whatever, because we wanted people to take us seriously, we were like, we're going to make a product and we're going to make a brand that people are going to like dig. So we committed to the order. It was $150,000 we had to invest into this thing. And the funny part was, I had just been laid off from my job, right? Wow. And it was me, Justin, and our third business partner, Alan. And we each had to come up with $50,000 to pay for this initial print run, right? And I tell my wife, this is right before we get married, and I just got laid off from my job. And I was like, babe, we have this idea, and I really think it's going to work. but I don't have $50,000 right now, so I'm going to take out a loan to do this thing. Like, I'm just like, what do you think? And she's like, I think you should go for it.
Wow.
And I was like, this is how I know I married the right one.
Hell yeah, dude.
So we get the money, we place the order, units arrive. Our go-to-market strategy was really interesting. There was a couple of competitors on the market that had like Kickstarters that failed, that like they took a bunch of people's money and didn't deliver the product. So we found all of those posts, that like all the social posts that they went on, and we literally plugged our product right at the top of it. And we were like, anybody that can prove that they backed this guy, we're going to give you 50% off of our product, and you can just buy it right now. And it's available right now. We will ship to you today. And they were like, holy moly, like real, like kind of like guerrilla warfare style splash. I don't think it was 50% off. I think it was like 20% off. But a bunch of people bought it. We got great press right out of the gate. A bunch of YouTubers were reviewing it and stuff. We ended up so I took that loan out for 50 grand. Ended up making that money back in 6 weeks. And I called the bank back to be like, hey, like I want to pay off my loan. And they're like, oh, like did something go wrong? And I was like, no, like we actually like made our investment back, like we're good. And she was like, oh, like you want some more money? I was like, no,
I'll take it. No.
Yeah. So that was kind of like how that brand started. That was our first product. Super successful.
That's
we sold like 5,000 units in like 3 months, which was pretty sick. And then after that,
what do you think like really sparked that?
The creation of the product,
or yeah, that, and also like it just kind of popping off.
So I think what it was, like we created something that like I wanted to buy, you know what I mean? Like
right.
we were in this space, and I was like, if the general public could see how cool this is,
right.
if they could see like what is possible here, I think they would be all about it. And the difference was like the real differentiator is most other companies that operated in this space were really like, you know, it was very mom and pop. It was very like, you know, we're just kind of 3D printing stuff in our house and selling it that way. So we're like, let's turn this into a finished product. Let's like evolve the space a little bit. And so I think the way that we approached and how these things.
Yeah, can we just take a pause?
100%. Yeah.
Quick,
Yeah. What's up, guys? So if you enjoyed the podcast so far, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll continue to make podcasts around entrepreneurs, businesses, and brands and everything that they're going through. Anyway, back to the podcast.
Right,
Successful?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. They've got a pretty interesting operation. But he's like, dude, some of the people that he's gotten in there, they did a thing with like Oliver Tree a couple weeks ago. He had Action Bronson in there doing like interviews and stuff. Yeah, they were shooting some commercial for some like online betting thing.
That's sick.
This is one of my buddies, Elia. He owns a studio in Brooklyn called 383.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did we leave off?
We were talking about
Marketing.
products and marketing.
guerrilla
Yeah.
marketing.
Oh yeah. So how did it get to the way that it went?
All right, so we're back. I just got my car towed. So
Nice.
we're back.
But you towed
but
it. You got it
for
towed.
repaired.
I
Not
actually used to
not
own
'cause he
a towing
parked.
company.
Did you really?
Yeah, yeah.
Is there money in that?
There was a lot of money, but I just
Really?
got in with the wrong partner. So
Oh, okay. Partners are tough. You
Yeah.
gotta find somebody that you're really like able to gel with. You know.
your brother.
That's it. That's it. That's
yeah,
it.
that's why we box. You know.
There you go. Yeah. Get all the aggression out so you can be on your
Yeah,
business. when
literally.
you're- I'm with you.
Dude, we were fighting so much before we started boxing, and then like the minute we were able to start sparring each other and just fucking taking it out on each
Yeah.
other. Just like we're not mad at each
Now,
other.
do you go like full on when you're sparring, or are you kind of like, you know?
Sometimes I'll get him pretty good, and he just turns something on. I'm like, oh, dude, chill.
Vice versa. Though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's good. That's
But
good.
he has heavy hands, so like he'll like throw a punch and then punch through, and I'm like, dude.
Oh man. So
If you're
which
gonna
one
catch
of
me
you
with that.
which one of you is older?
I'm
Where'd you
older.
guess?
Ah, damn it.
But it's you?
Yeah, who would
Okay.
you have guessed?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the facial hair just makes you look
Yeah,
older.
the
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say.
But all right, so
Okay, so we were
back
talking-
to the guerrilla marketing thing.
Yes. So why do I think that it popped off? I think because the niche that we entered into with like retro gaming stuff, I just don't think that there was a brand that hit the same kind of like level that we did. There was a lot of kind of like mom and pop sort of like really like underground kind of operations going on. Nobody that really like became a presence, right? And this is where I gotta give kudos to my business partner, Justin. He really made this brand look like something incredible. Like, it looks really polished. You know, you'd think like, you know, the Apples and Sonys and all these, you know, companies of the world.
Right.
He really dialed in what this brand was supposed to look and feel like. And every single thing that we were doing really like stepped to that. So we were launching these like kick-ass trailers and doing all this kind of stuff and really sort of like stepping it up for each release that we did.
Yeah.
And people kind of attached to that. You know, we were the premium option, and I think people connected to that. And then frankly, like, the YouTube community that kind of came behind us at the onset really kind of like helped propel it to that next level.
Yeah.
I think the last thing that really kind of like made it a thing was the tangibility of it, right? So these other people, they would run Kickstarters, launch products, and not deliver, right?
Gotcha.
Our thing was, when we came to market, it was like, it's available right now. We will ship it to you right now. And then not even that, we got it onto Amazon, and we were like Amazon FBA. So it's like, who are you going to trust more than that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you don't like it, return it for free. You know what I mean? So we were like, try it. Like, we promise you, like, we are so sure that you're going to have a great experience. That
Yeah, you got
should
nothing to
buy.
lose.
Exactly. So that's where I think it really started to kick off. And that brand really became something more substantial in our lives as far as like our whole like business portfolio. Mm-hmm. Since then, we've launched 4 other products on top of that. So we're about to launch our 5th later this year, which we're like really stoked about. That's going to be a product for the PlayStation 2, and it's going to go crazy.
That's crazy.
It's going to go crazy. I'm so
You guys have
excited
like
for it.
patents on this stuff?
Yeah, so most of it is patent pending. Trying to nail patents is extraordinarily difficult. Extraordinarily difficult. But we're definitely like, we're all trademarked up. You know,
Nice.
we
Very
did all this
costly
kind of stuff.
too, right?
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, just lawyers. It's like, forget about it, you know. But it was part of the process. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like one of the more necessary but kind of unattractive parts of business is figuring out all this like, you know, like administrative type stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like trying to get on Amazon, like anybody that's trying to get on Amazon, it is an absolute nightmare figuring it out to get on FBA, right? You have to register your business in every state in the nation. You have to set up sales tax accounts for them. You have to be collecting tax and then remitting them on quarterly, monthly, annual. It's a nightmare. And this was
terrible.
It was not something that I wanted to do at all. This was like the most unglamorous part of the business. But once we got it set up, it was like, that was the force multiplier. You know, there's billions of people trafficked on Amazon every day. It will literally compound your business's success.
Sharpening the axe before.
Big time.
And not only that, organically, if your product starts ranking high, it'll just start sending out.
Well, that's it. I mean, go on Amazon and type in GameCube HDMI. Like, we will be the first thing that's there.
Sick.
Like 100%. Go for it. Yeah.
We'll see.
Or N64. So our second product, was our best seller. It was called the Super 64. This is another plug and play HD adapter for the N64.
Dude, that's so sick.
Yeah. And
What's it called?
Super 64.
Super 64.
Yeah. There's also the GCHD is our product. It's $160. EON Gaming. Yeah, that's us. You should check us out. You can also find us on eongaming.tech.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Sick. Check them out.
So that was one of our big businesses. That became like a side thing that we were doing for a long time, but ended up churning a lot of money. And really what we were able to make off of that is what fueled our other businesses.
Gotcha.
So since then, it's been a lot of the playtesting outfit, and then kind of alongside that, this was totally random. I'm also into vinyl records.
Okay.
Like I just collect a lot of vinyl, listen to this stuff, specifically video game soundtracks. Heavy into video game soundtracks. So at a certain point, I talked to Justin, and I was like, you know, I'm meeting these guys in the vinyl community, and I'm like seeing like what's going on here, and I was like, we could make one of these if we wanted to. Like, it's not that complicated. Like, you just have to have relationships with the pressing plant, and you need to know how to like develop good art. So I was like, maybe we should just like try this. So I end up playing this game. It's called Bat Boy. It's a game from a Japanese publisher called X Plus, developed by a Japanese company called Sanzai Games. And I was just totally taken by the soundtrack. I was like, this game is sick. Like, I was like so into it. So just out of like,
which game is this?
It's called Bat Boy. Yeah, it's like a spiritual successor to Shovel Knight. It's like a 2D platformer, but it's in all like 8-bit like chiptune soundtrack.
What's your type of game? Like, what type of style of game do you like?
I play everything. I mean, I'm an old school gamer. Like, you know, I grew up on Super Nintendo, Genesis, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of cut my teeth during the 6th generation, which was GameCube, PS2, and original Xbox. That was like the first console I bought with my own money. So that was kind of like where I was like really sort of like entrenched in it. But since then, I mean, when we were a part of the news cycle and PR, we just had to be up on everything. So right now you'll catch me most on PlayStation 5. I'm playing the new Silent Hill game right now. So yeah, all kinds of stuff.
I remember the first Silent
I heard really good things about that game.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I kind of like horror stuff. Like I just finished the new Resident Evil Requiem. Oh my god.
Oh, I heard that was
killer
good,
game. Killer game.
Yeah,
just the best.
I gotta tap into that.
I'm too scared to play those games.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's because of our childhood.
Yeah.
Because we would try playing those games when we were younger, and like we'd be like, "I like you play it. No, you play it." Like,
Yeah. It's funny because it was me and my brother that got into like Resident Evil specifically. I remember like getting one for Christmas. And Christmas is supposed to be this magical, wonderful time, and we're over here like pissing our pants playing this game.
Well, I remember the first horror game that we ever bought was the first Silent Hill that came out on PlayStation.
Yeah, that's right.
And like you just wake up in this alleyway, you go to the diner, and it's like all foggy and stuff.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah, then that like demon comes down.
Yep.
Wait, why do I feel like you wake up in like a jail cell?
Yeah, it might have been a jail cell.
That was jail cell, not Silent Hill.
Or a room.
That is one of the Silent Hill games. I don't know if you played the later ones. The first game, you wake up on like a street and it's all foggy, and you do go to a diner.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But awesome stuff. Like,
yeah, and you're just like, what is this game? And like I like was so young, so I like could not get past like the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, but see,
it's like I'm not walking in that room. Like fuck that.
Yeah, no, I mean I was so tapped in. Like me and my brother would like, it's exactly like one of us would get too scared and we'd hand the controller off and whatnot. Yeah. But that was really where like the passion for it started to come from. You know, there were so many memories and like things that we would, you know, parts of my life that were kind of like punctuated by like these like really significant games or like launches or whatever. And that's kind of what made me want to like be in that industry. So
what games did we play? Like what was Super?
I would say
N64, right?
N64.
But what games did we play with that?
I mean, obviously Mario.
Yeah.
But what was
I'm sure you played GoldenEye.
What's the one?
GoldenEye.
Yeah, of course.
What was the one where we played like Ninja Turtles and all that stuff?
That's Nintendo 64.
Yeah, it was, right?
Or just the original Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. You
Nintendo.
thinking like Turtles in Time?
Yeah.
And then there was one where
Mega Man.
Yeah.
Mega Man was
heavy into Mega Man.
I love Mega Man.
My kid's 4 right now, dude. We're playing through all the Mega Mans.
Yeah,
we're playing Mega Man X.
I'm gonna revisit those because that's super nostalgic.
Oh heck yeah! There's a new Mega Man coming out.
What was the one with? He's not like an Iron Man, but like it's like you could he's like red and yellow, and then you could shoot. It's like a 2D game.
Yeah, it's X-Men.
Which console?
Oh, it was X-Men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
it was Iron Man and Wolverine, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that game was so sick.
Okay. If it was like original, it might have been like Captain America and the Avengers kind of thing.
Yeah. It was probably,
was it? No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Which console? I'm very good with
Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. And it was a beat 'em up game
or
fighting game?
Like you just shoot, and then it's like it's 2D. You walk to each like next level.
Let
me look.
It'd be like the Wolverine and like.
Yeah, there was.
I love that game.
There was a Wolverine game, Adamantium Rage. Then there was like all the Spider-Man games, like Separation Anxiety.
Never played any of the Spider-Man games, but I remember Ninja Turtles was like one of our favorites.
Turtles in Time is classic.
And then I would say PlayStation 1 was like kind of changed everything for me because I had Spyro, Crash Bandicoot. What else? I mean, Silent Hill. I don't know. There's a lot, but I think actually no. I retract that statement.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't X-Men owner.
It wasn't.
No.
It's what changed the game for me, which I wish they would come out. Sega's apparently coming out with it.
Yeah.
But Xbox, when they dropped Jet Set
Radio Future, dude,
it's so good.
Jet Set Radio is like going back to game soundtracks, probably one of the best curated soundtracks of all time.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh my gosh, the best. And Future was great too.
Yeah.
There is that new one that's coming out, but there's actually a lot of games in that space. You mentioned SSX Tricky before. There's a game that's coming out. The name of it escapes me. I think it's called like Hyper Yuki or something, but it's a snowboarding game that's done in the aesthetic of Jet Set Radio, and it's sick.
Dude,
we just played it at at GDC a couple weeks ago in San Francisco. It's very, very cool.
That's so cool. Dude.
So I got to figure out the name of this game.
I remember.
It's gonna kill me. I'll get it.
When we dial in, like I do have a weird like knowledge base that I can pull stuff from, so I'm sure I can figure it out. Of course, yeah.
So how often are you playing video games?
At least every day a little bit, but not like hours and hours. Like back in the day, you would catch me like in a room for hours, just kind of like dialing in. But now it's like, you know, I'll get a couple matches of Tetris in here and there. I still play a lot of Tetris. I absolutely love Tetris. But I try to play.
Did you watch the movie?
Yeah, dude, so good. Oh my God, it's amazing.
So
Actually, one of my oldest connections, 2009, I'm at E3, walking through the hallway. I got to meet Alexei Pajitnov. I have a photo with him. Yeah.
Oh, holy
it was so cool, dude. That was like, and now looking back, I had no context for like the journey he was on before then. So I was like, oh man, but I'm glad to see that. It's also a very funny picture. That was like back then. I used to be very overweight, so like that picture is so bad of me.
Dude.
But
where do you see the like video game industry headed?
So the games industry is in a very interesting spot right now. Mm-hmm. The biggest problem that they're facing is that production costs are just totally out of control. I mean, what used to be a 6 months to few years timeline to develop a games are taking 10 years to develop now. We look at stuff like GTA 6, you know, that's kind of an anomaly, but like most new games are taking years and years to develop. Yeah. And their budgets are going from like $1 million to 10 plus $100 million games. One of the biggest flops of the last couple of years was this game Concord that was only live for less than like 2 weeks, and it cost Sony $400 million to make that game. That's fucking crazy. And it just deleted. So it's just like absolutely absurd budgets, way too expensive. It's becoming unsustainable. And then from a consumer perspective, this is where discoverability becomes a huge issue. This is partially where we developed our business. I feel like
for me, so like I have a PC.
Yeah.
And like sometimes when I have some free time, which is barely any time, but I want to like find a new game or something like that. Just, you know, if I have like an hour or two. But I feel like it's hard for me to find something.
Absolutely.
That's for like my taste.
Absolutely. And discoverability for something like Steam, it's such a game. You know, it's all about like how many wish lists you get or how like deeply you discount your game or whatever. And it'll afford you different ranking in their marketplace. It's very, very competitive. It can make or break an entire game's existence, right? So that discoverability element becomes a huge risk for developers. And this is primarily what we created our business Crit Rate off of, because we recognized that this was a massive gap and nobody's trying to solve it, right?
Yeah, so true.
The initial inception of it was, there's this one company called Metacritic, right? Metacritic basically controls the narrative of games after release, because it's one score that dictates what everyone thinks about the game. It gets a 90, it gets an 80, whatever. The problem is that the Metacritic score is applying to every person. It's one score that's meant for all gamers, which from our perspective, didn't make a lot of sense, because the way that you play games is different than the way that I play games, and the things that you like is different than mine, right?
For sure.
Our reason for playing seats in different places. So what we tried to fix with Crit Rate, our platform, was that if we can connect you with other players with like-minded interests, right? The reason why you're playing a game, do you like playing socially? Do you like playing more casually? Do you like playing competitively, but like internally competitively, like you're trying to get achievements? Or do you like playing against somebody and getting that victory? Like there's all these different metrics that affect the way that you play a game. Man. So if you were to get a recommendation from somebody that is dialed in the same way that you are, it would mean so much more. And if you saw a game rated, you know, by a body of people with those interests, it would technically carry a lot more weight, because it's like, 100%. You know, like the person that might be reviewing that game on IGN or whatever might have totally different interests than you do. So we were trying to solve that with through Crit Rate and creating these sub-communities.
So you saw a clear, open gap.
Yeah, and it was cool. I mean, we had a pretty, this is another interesting business story. When we started Crit Rate, it was kind of like a friends and family thing. We had a few hundred people on there, and we were like, this is cool, but we want to kind of like spread the message a little bit more. So we went to this event, PAX East, right? PAX East is the biggest indie game conference on the East Coast. It takes place in Boston in this giant, like, it looks like a freaking airplane hangar, but it's a convention space, right? So we get a booth there, and I think they might not have liked us for some of the things that we did there, but like, here's some guerrilla warfare tactics for anybody out there that's going to conventions. We set up our booth, and the whole like tilt that we had was anybody who's on the show floor, they're playing hundreds of games while they're there, right? There's all these games on the show floor. How do you know how you should spend your time at the convention, right? Like, you got to wait on lines, you got to walk to all these places. What do you think is good for you? So what we did was, the line for people to come into the event, we walked up to the line and we handed out maps to the show floor, right? So it's like, here's this useful thing. Like you've got this map, right? But on the back, there's a QR code. And when you scan the QR code, you take our survey. You create a user account, right? And if you can bring your like receipt of creating that account to our booth, we're going to give you a free enamel pin, which pins are like currency at these things, right? So, and it was a pin that identified your specific house. When you join Crit Rate, you get seated into one of 5 gaming houses, not dissimilar to like Harry Potter houses, right? So when you take your profile, you would come to our booth and we would give you a badge of your house, right? So now every time you went back on the show floor and you played a game, you could go back to our website and rate your experience. And then we had this giant leaderboard at our booth that was like jockeying for positions, all the games on the show floor. So like the people there were totally activated. They were like, this is like this game. Now we get to like interact in this cool way.
That's for like, because that's pretty like an interesting perspective, because you're essentially marrying marketing and gaming together, and you're gamifying marketing, and gamifying marketing is the most successful type of marketing, in my opinion.
That's it, and what was so reassuring was as people were interacting with us, they were like, you've made our event so much cooler because now we can come to your booth and we can see what games are ranking high for our house, and we know how to spend our time. We're going to have a better time at the event because we have like a mission while we're here,
absolutely.
right? And then for each game that they rate, we would give them free merch. So you rated 10 games, you get a t-shirt. You rate 15 games, you get something else, right? It was like this whole thing.
What are the houses?
So there are 5 houses. Our first house are the Vantagists. These are our strategic-minded gamers. They like high difficulty, tend to play single player, but like kind of like 4X games, strategy games. Your StarCraft players, your Dota players, things like that. The next house are our Curionauts. These are our gamers that like narrative. They like to be immersed in worlds and really be a part of their story. These are your Skyrim players. These are your Animal Crossing players, stuff like that.
It'll probably be me.
Yeah, right.
Do you think they'll ever make another Skyrim?
100%, yeah. It's actually one of the most like notorious stories right now. It was like in 2020 or something. Todd Howard, the president of Bethesda, showed a teaser trailer for Elder Scrolls 6 and like never heard of it again. Like nobody's talked about it again for 6 years, and it's like, what is going on here? So those are our Curionauts. Our third house is the Ascendiaries. These are extremely competitive gamers, but internally competitive. They like high difficulty. They like very mechanics-based things. So they like people that play Tetris. I fall in the Ascendiary category because I'm like hunting achievements. I want to like prove my prowess in a game, but like on a leaderboard, right?
Gotcha.
Then we have our Galabanders. These are social gamers. These are people that use games as a medium. Like the game is less important than the social opportunity that the game presents. You know what I mean?
The game is more important than
Like the social opportunity is more important than the game is what I meant.
Minecraft?
Like I'm just gonna go in Minecraft. I don't even care what I'm doing in Minecraft. But this is
I
just
just
a
want to
world
be
like
social.
Exactly. I get to occupy this world and talk to my friends in there.
What about if you want the social aspect, but you want the competitive aspect and also like achievement based?
So these are our last house. These are the Brigadiers. So Brigadiers are people that want to go online. They only want to interact with other people, but it's all about asserting dominance. These are your Call of Duty players. These are your fighting game players, people that are like, I want to face against somebody and I want to win. And like that's their whole environment. So
is there one though? Like, so I feel like as Call of Duty, it's like there is that like, you know, PvP aspect to it, but you don't really see like the achievement isn't really like super competitive. It's just in game it's competitive and then it kind of disappears, in my opinion. Is there something where it's like it's kind of that, but then like there isn't like, you know, there's a long journey to then get to a certain
hit like a professional level or something like that?
Like what's it called? What's that super big game that came out a couple of years ago?
Shooter?
No, it's
a MOBA.
It's like, kind of like Skyrim, but like one game of the year.
Kind of like Skyrim, but one game of the year.
Yeah.
Last year was Claire Obscura.
You played it? I mean, I played it. Why am I blanking out on this? The name of this game? Come on.
Is it an open world game?
Yeah, it's open world. There's like
Elden Ring. Yeah. Okay.
So you know, like an Elden Ring, like you can kind of. There's like a progression.
Yes.
And then like your character gets better and better. And it's noticeable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there something like that where it's that, but then it's social and competitive?
So certainly. So these are like MMO players. What's cool about our system is that you occupy a portion of every house. So you will be more seated in one house than another, but you might be like 50% Brigadier, but like 30% Galabander, right?
That's cool.
So that's how you sort of like find your sort of like blended personality. Yeah. There's 7 different metrics that we're rating each people on, and then they all fall on like a bar graph scale, like how far in one direction are you? So like one of the metrics is immersion, right? So immersion exists in 2 paradigms, which is mechanical immersion and narrative immersion, which is like, are you immersed in the game because you feel like you're part of the story, or are you immersed in the game because you are one with the controller, right? Like it feels really good to hit the buttons and all this kind of stuff, right? So that's like one metric of 7.
What about like Tarkov? Because that's technically you're immersed in that.
Yeah. So Tarkov would be interesting. I don't know the profile off the, we could run it to find out what the ideal player archetype for that is. But a game like that would have all of these balances, right? So that might lean a little bit more in multiplayer, probably higher in difficulty, probably higher in, I would say mechanical, but like also higher in competitive. Like each of these have what we call an ideal player archetype. So say this is one of the services that we offer to the businesses that we work with. If you're trying to make a game and you're like, I want Tarkov meets whatever, like my game is going to be like a blend of these things, we could find those games, basically look through our player base and find all the people that rated it positively and why, and then take all of those metrics to find what that game's ideal player archetype is, the exact person that game is trying to target.
Dude,
like
fucking crazy,
right? And then we can do that with whatever their type B is, and then find, okay, this is your person, and these are the things that matter most to them, and this is how they want to hear about your game, the parts of your game that matter the most to them.
What
you
goes?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, what goes behind the development of that?
The survey?
Because obviously you need a lot of data to be able to start having that.
Yeah. So this is interesting. So out of my college career, one of my jobs was I worked for a company called Caliper. I think it's called Talogy now, but this was an employee profile assessment company. This was somebody that they created assessments that helped people find their right jobs, right? They weren't a recruiting agency, but they found like, what kind of job you were suited for. And there was a lot of data scientists there that helped create this assessment. One of these scientists we started, working with, we developed a relationship with, and we talked about how we could apply this to gaming. And it was through him and some like rigor on our own side that we developed our survey, right? So that's our personality metrics. That's how we map somebody's personality when they create an account on our site. The next layer is we then are able to integrate their Steam data. So like if you joined our site, you would type in your Steam name and we could scrape basically every game that belongs in your library, how long you've played all of them, how many achievements you've gotten in them, all of this type of stuff.
Gotcha. So
and that helps
you more of like a profile.
Exactly. So then we can basically determine like, okay, what type of player are you? Like you might say that you value these things, but like your playtime reflects something different. So like where does that meet and all these kinds of things. So it's a bunch of different APIs that are talking to each other, but it's this proprietary model that we've created that that allows it all to live.
Cool, man.
Do you guys track like success rates on placements for like new games for?
Yeah, so we're still early. Like we're onboarding a lot of new clients, but the one metric that we can kind of hang our hat on right now is we did a number of playtests through a pre-alpha on a game that we saw basically through pre-development to full release. And basically from every iteration that we play tested, we ran like 5 play tests with this company. We were able to increase their base market reception by 20% by the end of the process. Dude. So it was like they had a concept that they were moving forward with, and then we would iterate on each play test and help inform like, okay, these are the things that you should lean into. This is what people are resonating with, and they would adjust the game accordingly, like based on the feedback that we would give them. And yeah, they saw a 20% increase in market reception insane, after that, dude. Which is cool.
That's crazy because, for me as a game player, right? Like I feel like, I'm not on PC, I'm on Xbox, but when I'm looking at like the store, it's like it's always the same shit over and over and over again, and I feel like they're just marketing you to whoever's like paying the most, maybe, or I'm sure they pay.
It's probably super competitive.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, no doubt.
I'm sure they pay money to like be on the top of the list.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and some of them have like partnered relationships, like Game Pass or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like there's definitely a lot of jockeying for position there, and that's why like the first thing that we tried to solve for was the discoverability problem.
Right.
And we're still
that's definitely a huge.
Yeah, and we're still working that. It's developing over time. But
how many games do you think are coming out like a month?
Oh my God, 5 figures, easy.
Really?
Wow. Oh yeah, every single month you're talking like over 10,000 games for sure.
Holy shit!
It's nuts, dude. Marketplaces like Steam are some of the most competitive places in.
So Steam is just like surface level. would you say, like on the games that it's shown you?
Yeah. As far as like if you go on like the Steam homepage, yeah, I mean that's heavily curated. It's almost entirely influenced by how many wish lists a game has or how trafficked a certain page is. All of those play a factor in what a game is going to position in. And honestly, like sales history. So like if it's from a publisher that people know and it's like the next game that they're producing, it's obviously going to naturally get more traffic and organically get placements like that.
What about graphics wise? Like where do you see realism going?
It's funny that photorealism used to be this sort of like baseline metric of like how good a game is. Like people were interested in like console generations because they're like, oh man, stuff's gonna look so much better on PS3, stuff's gonna look so much better on whatever, right? More recently, that has dialed down a lot, and I think specific aesthetics, like the way a game identifies its own visual style, is far more important than visual fidelity. Like you have a game like Jet Set Radio we mentioned before. This is a game that has a very specific dialed in visual style. It's cell shaded, it's very poppy, very neon. That style will live forever. But if you look at like Black Ops 1 or something, which was cutting edge, back in 2006, it looks like shit now. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't hold the same provenance as something like that.
You think it'll ever, like that era though could come back? Within like the next,
I think
there's that 20-year mark or 10-year mark or whatever.
I think there's a lot of companies that are trying it, and you still see a bunch that are sort of like on that path, right? So, just to give you an example, like Cyberpunk. We were talking about Cyberpunk earlier. This is a game that has an extremely defined visual style, but also leans pretty heavily into hyperrealism. This is where like a lot of the processing power for new systems and graphics cards become necessary with like ray tracing and all this kind of stuff. And people tend to care about that, but it's becoming prohibitively expensive. And now with like this whole like AI rush on RAM and whatnot, people don't have access to the technology to really leverage it. So I think you're going to see developers start to push in a direction of we're going to make something visually distinct and not visually cutting edge.
So like Marathon, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Like you look at Marathon and it's a beautiful, beautiful game, but you're not worried about like the fibers of hair, on somebody, it's just a very visually distinct type of experience.
And me as a consumer too, like I feel like in the beginning of gaming, I was always looking forward to every new game that was coming out to be better in graphics and be like, whoa, this is awesome. Like just kind of like how when the iPhone first came out, and then the next update, you're like, holy shit, my phone's completely different. You know? But now it's like, I feel like people are I think in my opinion, a lot of these developers are just trying to make the games way too complex and like missing the point on. And maybe I'm just more of a storyline type of guy or whatever. But it's just like kind of get back to the basics. Like
I think some people like that complexity. Because there's like a learning phase with it. So once you kind of figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a really nuanced market, right? And what we're finding is that there is a player for every type of game. But I think the thing that's like becoming more important is how those games stand out, how you're going to connect with that audience and really kind of like take up part of their life. Like time is such a rare commodity nowadays, you know what I mean? Our attention is split in so many different directions. So for a game to hold your attention for any period of time, or for you to like, God forbid, pay for a game, before you start playing it, it's a high bar of entry for a lot of people. That's why you see free to play stuff take off, like Fortnite's and all these types of games.
Why do you think in the last few years gaming has like exploded?
Yeah,
because I feel like am I wrong? Like, did it not, like in the last maybe 5?
Gaming is bigger now than it's ever been. I don't want to tie everything to like COVID or whatever, but that obviously created a pretty major surge because people had all this time on their hands. But I think really what we're seeing is the accessibility of games is dropping really, really low. I mean, you rewind back 20 years and you can't really have like a quality gaming experience without a great console, a great PC, the game that you're looking for, all this sort of stuff. Right now, you can play a AAA quality game on your phone for free. Right now, like your barrier to entry is so low. So I think you're able to get so many more people on in that way, and kind of like this sounds like a little too like what you call it, like doomsday or whatever, but sort of like the predatory nature of these games, I think, lock people in for a very long period of time. Like it kind of gets you into their loop and wants you to stay there to obviously spend money and occupy more of your time. So I think the stickiness of games is increasing, and because the accessibility bar is so low, like you don't need anything to be a gamer these days. I think that's what's kind of like allowed this flood, this dearth of people to enter the industry.
And it's okay to be a gamer now too.
For sure. I mean, there was definitely a stigma like 20 years ago. Like, I mean, when I was writing for my blog back in 2009, I was not the coolest kid on the block, I assure you that. But these days, I mean,
or you're even your parents, like back in the day, it's like, you can't play GTA, or you know what I mean? Or like,
well,
you can't play this game.
What's sick now is like, I would say
in the beginning we did.
No, I never got that.
I would say most parents these days are playing games though. That's the big difference. Like my parents didn't play games. Like my dad played like Tetris or something, right? But like it wasn't part of our lifestyle. My kid's 4 and we've beaten every Mario game for the first like for every year of his life so far. So it's like, there's, I think that level of acceptance is like way higher, and it's like, I think it's just not weird anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's not like this niche hobby. It's like something that everyone's kind of tapped into.
It's accessible everywhere. I mean, you got like the Nintendo DSs. You got like
I mean, Switch kind of changed the game when it came out, as far as like how people attach to stuff, for sure.
Yeah, I want to play games more, but I feel like I'm constantly behind the screen.
Yeah.
Well, so when I'm working, so when I get home, I'm like, I don't want to be.
Well, we're also in this prime demographic, this age group of like, we're 30-something-year-old guys. If we're not currently making money, if we're not in the process of making money at any point in our lives, we're like, what am I doing? So it's a really hard negotiation.
It's so true.
Yeah. I kind of like force myself to it because I'm like, this is what's earning me the conversational currency that I need to continue networking to advance my businesses.
Yeah, you kind of lucked out with that.
Dude, that was my whole game. Honestly, what got me into the industry originally was I just didn't want to pay for video games anymore. I was like, how do I get my games for free? I was like, I'll start reviewing games because game reviewers get their games for free. And that was kind of what opened the door. And, now here we are.
What are some big games that you're looking forward to coming out?
Well, next week, so today is April 7th, 8th, something like that. Next week, a new game from Capcom comes out. It's called Pragmata. Really, really cool game. It's it's kind of like this sort of puzzly survival horror type game, so I'm pretty stoked about that. The week after that, on the 17th, a new first-party PlayStation game called Scerbo comes out. We actually got to meet the director of the company that makes it, Housemarque. His name's Olari. We met him at Bit Summit last year in Kyoto, and it was awesome. Coolest guy we've ever met. So that game's coming out. I'm really amped about that, and I hope it does well for them. I think it's gonna murder. So
that's sick, dude.
Yeah. How about you guys? Is there anything on the horizon that you're looking at?
I mean, GTA.
Yeah. GTA is going to be a monster, man. It's literally going to redefine.
$2 billion on it or something?
What's that?
They spent like $2 billion, right?
I think it's going to be even more than that. It's done. And the thing is you're going to see it clear its break even day one.
Oh, 100%. Hour
one. It is going to shake every end of the media industry to be like, oh wait, this is what's possible. It's crazy, man.
It's insane, especially the online world too. Because I feel like. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I feel like GTA Online like changed the game for a lot of games.
Hugely so. Because like they made GTA 5 was for a time the best-selling game of all time. I think Minecraft owns that now. But GTA Online was the thing that allowed them to be this absolute juggernaut when it came to revenue generation. And that's why they had $1 billion budget on GTA 6. So when we see that translate to this new generation, I shudder to think how it's going to affect the gaming industry as a whole. Every one of these other live service games, your Fortnites and all these people, I would be nervous if I was at a company like that. Not because they're going to go away, but because you're going to see a big drop in your numbers.
But like, how good could a game? How could it be?
I would venture to say it doesn't matter. GTA 6 has so much hype behind it that regardless of what the game actually delivers, because it's this cultural milestone now, that's really what's going to allow it and successfully propel it to this like best-selling game of all time type of territory.
I've heard a lot of stuff too. People saying that when that game comes out, people are gonna be able to like they're gonna be so invested in the game that it's gonna kind of create its own currency. Do you think something like that could happen?
I mean, for sure. Like all of these games have done that. But I mean, back in World of Warcraft times, like there was, the in-game economies of those games absolutely translate to real dollars for sure. I mean, that was, I think, Diablo 3, they were the first one that used like a real money marketplace that you could buy like in-game assets and stuff with. And I mean, yeah, I don't know if you guys follow like, CSGO or
I know those
Counter-Strike and stuff, but there's like real money that's
there's
being
like real, like
in these
people
places.
open these packages and then it's like,
and you're talking like thousands and thousands of dollars for some of these things. It's like, I mean, it's a problem. We're talking about gambling right now, but like there is serious money being exchanged in these marketplaces. Like if you get some of these things, like you can sell it for real money.
But what do you think? How do you think GTA will? What's your prediction on how you think that would kind of unfold with that kind of stuff?
I think in any online environment where you're dealing with millions of players and anything that involves some sort of scarcity, I don't know what the model of GTA 6 is going to be. I don't know if there will be any sort of like scarcity involved in the things that you could find there. If I was Rockstar, I would absolutely be thinking about that. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine for the amount of attention that game's going to garner, I would be thinking of any possible way that I could monetize it. And if creating scarcity or something that, becomes desirable to people on a secondhand market is a way to do it, I would be doing it.
It's like unique cars or unique.
Yeah.
Right. Well, even like, cause like, you could build out,
it's like real estate. Like you could own real estate.
Yeah. Cause it takes time to get certain things.
Exactly.
And I could see people wanting to pay for things that might take 3 years to get, right?
Oh, for sure.
Game, and it's like, all right, well, I'll sell you this, but like you got to pay me this.
Yeah, I think advancing like that has definitely always been valuable. I remember back in the day, like World of Warcraft, like you could sell like a completed, like fully leveled character to somebody for X amount of dollars. Like I don't know what it was. Where it becomes really sort of like dangerous, expensive, nefarious is when there's some level of scarcity introduced to it. So like suppose GTA 6, it's like, hey, there's only so many plots of land and you can buy some of this land in the game and build a house or whatever, like a real like metaverse type thing. Right. Mm-hmm. Again, if I were in Rockstar shoes, I would be thinking about this stuff, but who knows what
that's
actually
wild.
unfolds there,
That's a wild concept to think about. You know what I mean? Like you're controlling the real estate in game.
Yeah.
Imagine making money in GTA 6 and then just being like, I could just quit my job now because I got enough money.
There's going to be that many people that like, I totally think it's possible. Completely.
I mean, people are making money off of like TikTok or Instagram, stuff like that. Like, why couldn't they?
One of the big suspicions about GTA, and this actually might affect your guys' business, one of the big suspicions for it is that they're going to create an in-game social media network that only exists within the world of GTA 6.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so like, because part of the trailers and stuff were them showing like viral moments in their like TikTok equivalent or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I would imagine that's going to be prime real estate,
Dude,
for content and stuff.
I wonder how they would put that together. Just like your character on social media, or like you on social media.
We live in a crazy world, man.
Dude, it's insane.
We've got AI making games for us. All kinds of weird stuff going on.
Yeah, we didn't talk about AI. What do you think? Like, what do you think about the whole AI stuff, like technology being used in gaming?
Yeah, I mean, it's coming whether we like it or not. Or its level of impact on the industry is going to be, unavoidable. I think. At least the test that we have, like we go to a lot of these events, right? Like I said, we were at DICE earlier this year. We were at GDC, Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. And when we go to these places, we're talking to a lot of people about this. AI is like a peak conversation about it. From a business perspective, almost every like XDev or like outside of like prime development company is trying to sell you something AI related 100%. Like whether it's helping you create assets, helping you manage your communities, helping you, whatever, make advertisements for your game. I think there's a lot of hesitancy to it because they think that, or there is this feeling that it's interrupting the artistry of games. Like nobody wants like the art in a game to be generated by AI because it's going to feel inauthentic, right? Yeah. But I think there's a big...
The design,
Yeah, but there's a big body of people that are like the actual programming side of it. It's like pretty much harmless. And you would never know from a consumer perspective if part of your game was vibe coded. You know?
But also like there's always been AI in video games, you know what I mean? So,
for sure.
So like the NPCs and whatever.
Yeah,
I think that has a really big opportunity.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, like leveraging it as like... Yeah, so like an element within a game, 100%. I think it's specifically around the generation of content that spooks people.
It kind of goes like it's pretty similar to I can relate it to like architecture because I have a background in architecture. My cousin, he's an architect right now, but like he doesn't want any AI to touch design whatsoever. But if it could be like, if it could help him in a way where he gets the things that kind of just take up a little bit of the time, not on the design side, like maybe like, you know, zoning or, you know, coding or whatever, like if you could just get that stuff done quicker, or he can just pull something up really fast and then just get back, and then now he has more time to design. I think that's where you see
like adoption come from.
Yeah, because like, you know, as a video game designer, you want to just focus on designing the video game. You know?
Certainly. And I think the places where there is that like level of acceptance really is sort of like coming from a how much is the user going to interface with this thing, right? If it is the art, if it's like the way something feels, it's going to be there's going to be too much friction there, and people are going to look at it and be like, that's AI and I don't like that, right? Yeah. But if it's just the code that was generated on the back end that makes something work, nobody cares, right?
No one will know.
Even in our space, when it comes to playtesting and things like that, there's a lot of thought around, well, if I have 1,000 people playtesting this game at the same time and I have recorded video of 1,000 people playing it, it would take me a lifetime to observe everything that's going on there.
Oh, true.
Or I could just throw it into an LLM and say hey, process all this information and give me the
essentially
the
you're auditing it.
Yes, exactly. So when it comes to processing large amounts of data, I think there's a higher degree of acceptance to that, you know, but it's around like generation to it. And I think on a surface level, like if you're not that familiar with AI, you know what AI art is, and any of us can sniff it out at this point. I mean, it's getting too good, but like
maybe for like people that are a little bit older, I sometimes they struggle.
Yeah, like they might get fooled on socials or whatever.
Like, I feel like, I mean, maybe we have
the ring camera ones get you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You just see that little bit of distortion in the video quality to be like, oh, this makes sense because it's a ring camera. It's like, no.
But then you look at the comments and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Oh my God, this is crazy.
Do you remember the first time you got? Have you gotten got yet?
I don't think I've gotten got.
I'm sure like probably in the hook part of it.
Yeah.
And then like, you're like, okay.
I think a lot of people got with that bunnies on the trampoline video.
I've never seen that one.
You never saw that one? No. The bunnies on the trampoline video seems convincing.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's again like a ring camera, like night vision kind of video.
Oh, gotcha.
And you're like, oh, look at it, it's a bunch of bunnies on a trampoline. It's like, no, man. Like, that's definitely fake.
Or like the one where it's like the dog walks up to the door and then like fucking...
Oh, yeah.
Like shoots like a...
Yeah, randomly just takes that again.
It just like starts.
Awesome. No, I saw a bunch where it was like a bear just like busts through a sliding glass door and is just like in somebody's house, and I'm like, this is not real.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
You could tell by the voice too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The voice I think is a clear giveaway.
When you see the lips not synced, then it's like, this is not right.
Once they get the voice down, it's game over.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I mean, I have guys that are in like the ad space right now that are like developing stuff, and it is the tool at their side, you know, like anything that they're doing is going to be through some kind of engine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Sorry.
All right, so that's two of your businesses, right?
Yes.
So we got three more.
Yeah. Well, so one of them is easy. It's I do freelance Google ads and things like that. That's just more of my like professionally trained lifestyle that kind of like got me into ads. There's a funny story there, but I'll leave that for another time. But the other two companies, one of them is our record label, which I was saying we do vinyl records for indie game soundtracks. So we'll just like find games, print a couple records, send it out. That was again more of like an enthusiast thing. Our last business, and it's funny that we haven't talked about this at all yet. Our last business I have with my business partner Justin, my brother, his name's Frank, and then our other business partner Alex. It's the four of us. We run a company called the Lab Ventures, which is we're basically like an agency, but we build pitch decks for startup companies that are seeking venture capital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we've churned probably like 50 or 60 clients at this point, but we basically use our marketing and design backgrounds to help sculpt the stories of companies that are going after their pre-seed or seed rounds of funding.
How'd you get into that?
So my brother and Alex, they started a business out in LA. It was a tech startup for a travel company called Elude. And it was an awesome idea. So it was an app that basically you would give it a budget and a time frame. So you could say like, hey, I'm free next week and I have $2,000. And it would basically generate all of your travel options and like book your flights and hotels and anything that you do. The whole idea was spontaneous travel. They ended up having an exit for like $7 million. They did very, very well. But through that process, they understood a lot about like, okay, this is how we go after capital. This is how we talk to investors. These are the things that actually matter. And then through that process, they connected with me and Justin because, you know, we have experience in building businesses and understanding like what those first couple of steps are. So all of our powers combined, we basically created this company that will onboard a new startup that's like basically going after their pre-seed round of funding, and we'll look at their operation, understand what they're trying to do, and then sculpt their story, their pitch in a way that's going to resonate with investors.
Wow.
And then Frank and Alex, they basically have this network of like angels and like investment firms that they have relationships with. So then as we go through, we're able to help foster some connections between these startups and those companies.
Now, do you guys charge a fixed rate or do you guys take a percentage?
It really depends on the client. When we first started, it was just like exchanging for the decks, right? It's like they need a deck, we'll create a price, and that would be that. Now we're starting to find that the relationships that we have with the investor network is significantly stronger. So we don't really take clients from anywhere. We're basically exclusively like handshake invitations from others that we know, right? Like we don't advertise, like there's no way to
So
really...
it's strictly referral based?
Yeah, like there's no way to contact us. Like we don't have like a form or anything. It's like if somebody's like, yo, you should work with these guys, and then we'll onboard them. So more recently, we've kind of been selective about which partners we want to onboard, and if we find someone that we're really strong with, we'll basically say, listen, we'll do all of the upfront work for free. Like we won't do anything, like or we won't charge you anything. We'll make the deck for you, we'll do your entire financial breakdown, we'll help foster these relationships or whatever, and then we might ask for a like percentage off the raise or something like that.
Gotcha.
But it really depends. It's all situational.
That's cool, man.
But that's been a fun company. That's exposed us to so many different startups. Like we've seen companies in like every industry you can imagine, from fashion to tech to real estate to whatever. And just being sort of like an entrepreneurial minded person, like when you start running your own business, you kind of like want to get into the works of like, okay, well, how does your business work? Like what are you doing? What's the market differentiator that you're offering? What's the thing that's like getting you to the next level? And like, what do you need to succeed? And kind of being in lockstep with all of these companies as they're on that journey is like super cool. It's like it's a really fun process, and we've met a lot of really cool people doing it.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah. That's like, you do a lot of shit.
It's fun. Yeah. Honestly, I think it's
how do you juggle everything?
Not well. I'm kind of I kind of operate on a schedule of what's the next most important thing that I have to do.
Yeah. What's the best way to do it?
Yeah, and I have a bad habit. Thankful again, I have an amazing business partner. Like me and Justin, we're like, we are in lockstep with everything. Like our record company is called J Squared because it's like, Justin and Justin.
I was gonna, dude, it's so funny. In the beginning when you told me that, I was like, you guys should create a company called Justin Squared.
Yeah, dude, it's literally our record label. And I'll tell you what, having both of us be named Justin is the best for networking. Yeah. We go anywhere and we meet somebody and they're like, oh, Justin, and I'm also Justin. And it's like, all right, boom, they'll remember us forever. Yeah. So that's been a big boon for us. But yeah, it's as far as juggling things, we work together really well. We've got a good regimen. He's in LA, so we kind of have this like bi-coastal time frame. Although I think he's moving to China soon, so that's going to be like another hurdle that we'll have to figure out. Well, but yeah, I mean, he's been awesome about like humoring these ideas when I'm just like, hey, maybe we should start a record label, and he's just like, all right, let's go for it. Yeah. Well. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, I'm very motivated by the things that I'm passionate about. Like I always wanted to be in the games industry. It's something that I wanted to be, on the cutting edge of for basically my entire adult life. So being involved in that on any level has just been really like interesting to me. And now that I'm at a point of my adulthood, right? Like I have a child now and all this sort of stuff. It's like, I want to continue to find that stability of like, I want to make successful businesses. I want to do stuff that makes a lot of money, but I want to do it in a way that like fuels my own passion. Like if you're not doing something that you actually care about, it is miserable. And we've all had that job where it's just like you're showing up and you're like, this sucks. Like this is not what it's all about. So I think once I got the taste of what it was like to start my own business and see a positive result from it, like it became full on, like, I don't want to call it like survival mode, but it's like, this is the option. Like there is no other option. Like I am in this lane until the fucking wheels come off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Man. So
are you guys doing any like social media at all?
A little bit. For the adapter company, for our manufacturing company, we were pretty heavy on it for a while, basically exclusively on Twitter. That was just where we fostered our audience. With Crit Rate, not so much. It's been interesting because we did like the live activations. We have a podcast that we've run for a number of years, but again, it's more just like something that we do for fun. And we have a Discord that we run, but we're not really on Instagram. We haven't really like outwardly like.
Bro, you guys need to be.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you.
Are we
right
missing?
now.
I would love to show you all of our stuff after this, just so you can see kind of what we're working with.
For sure.
But we're very low key with all of these things.
Especially because like the gaming industry is so huge, and you guys already have, a user base of 12,000 that would already support you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is like, people want to know what's the next thing coming out. They want to see people having fun. People, trying and testing out video games. Like right off the bat, for me, a campaign for you guys would right off the bat would be like, bringing some of these guys that are playtesting into like a spot and just doing some like social media marketing around
that would be cool.
You know what I mean?
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, I'm curious because you like this is obviously your guys' whole realm, right? How is it that like when we look at the social media activation, we're like this has to be its own living, breathing thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're saying
It's
like
its own
how do we
business.
keep all this stuff up? It's like there's no way. I
Yeah.
feel like navigating the social media space would be its own business.
Yeah.
So in your guys' experience, like how much of brain share do you put into social media stuff when it comes to some of the clients that you work with?
I would say,
It depends it's client to client
yeah,
basis.
client to client basis, but we're just kind of looking at the market and seeing what's kind of going on and seeing how we can ideate around like what their message is, right? So like a lot of the times, which I fucking hate, is a lot of these gurus online, they'll tell you, try copying these hooks and these trending things or whatever, but that's not your real message, right? And before we were telling you, like we have a guy that is in the leads business and he talks about some guys getting indicted in the industry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that video blew up,
Yeah.
right? But then he got sales off of it. But his message is like the do's and don'ts in this industry, how to properly set up for leads, how to do this. And yes, it might be boring to some people, but once it catches the right market, it starts to explode and people are like hitting him up. Like he told me like one of the biggest guys in the industry hit him up and was like, I never knew you existed. Like, let's do business together.
Huge.
You know what I mean? So it's
Huge,
like, but it opens you up to this world where it's, which we believe in, is just like, get your messaging down and it doesn't matter how big your audience is, right? You can have 100,000 followers, but if none of those followers interact or buy from you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
right?
if it's not transactional.
It's not transactional.
If it doesn't turn into a transaction thing, it's not really worth it. Like, or I mean, it's good, I guess, brand awareness, but.
Do you guys do branding? Is that like part of your operation?
So like for us, it'd be like we wouldn't just work with anybody, like some random person.
Yeah.
Right. So like they have to be, they have to know what they're talking about, and they have to like have a lot of experience in it. If they have a lot of experience in a certain topic,
we could pull the message out.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Like essentially, like if they have if they're an expert in what they're talking about, like they're confident in, speaking about it. Yeah. So they can speak about it forever. Right. And then what happens is that we keep putting things out, and not in a sales way. Organic needs to be like, you're speaking to your audience, you're speaking to your audience and you're speaking about things that they'll resonate with. Right.
Yeah.
And that builds the connection. Right. So then once that connection is built and you start to find those outliers in the things that you're talking about within your industry and the things that the market really likes or really resonates with, then you start doubling down on those certain topics, and then more people start to flood in.
I see.
You know, and then now you're providing so much value, and you have this like valuetainment aspect to you that people naturally connect with you. Then they want to know what it is that you have to sell, and then now it's really helpful with the CEOs of the business, right?
Yeah.
If they want to put themselves out there, people want to buy from people who are. People want to buy from people who they connect with. They want to know who it is that they're purchasing X product from. If it's just company and like not person's face behind it, like yes, people will buy, and there are obviously massive companies that are faceless. But I think in today's age, it's like putting a face to the company and allowing the consumer building that connection and actually liking that person is going to support whatever businesses it is that you have.
That makes a lot of sense. Like it's almost like platforming the expertise
Yes.
first, and like by having a source, right? Because I feel like I totally am like resonating with what you're saying, because a lot of companies that say like, you know, we're the experts in whatever, it's like, really? Like, who is? Oh, you are? Okay. You know, then it kind of adds that layer of believability, because it's like, all right, now there's like, it's almost like soft accountability.
Right. And also the other thing is like every fucking company out there is saying the same messaging. We've been in business for 25 years. We've done this. We've done that. This is why you should, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But once you have a brand behind it, it's like, you know, if fucking, you know, Justin likes to get flat whites at Ambi, now because I follow him and I fucking love his content, like I'm gonna get flat whites at Ambi. You know what I mean? So totally. It's like
the way the platforms work too, the way if you like boil it down, so the short form is more about like facial recognition, right?
Okay.
And then association. So it's, oh, I recognize that person. I think I've seen him before. It creates that.
Yeah.
I think that guy, like, you know, he likes video games. Like it kind of creates that.
I see.
Right. So then the more you distribute that, so that's kind of like the surface level, right?
Yeah.
And then it can kind of go, it gets deeper and deeper, right? So like then you can go into longer form content, right? And then you can get onto the email list and stuff like that. So now you're kind of getting consumed into that person's, you know, lifestyle.
But each of these things like plays a different role.
So it's like 7 hours. I think it's like 7 hours of touch point. Is, you know, it dramatically increases. I don't know the exact percentage, but it dramatically increases someone's opportunity to purchase.
Really?
Yeah. So like if they've watched or listened or read 7 hours of your content, essentially, they'll more likely buy.
It's so funny because I'm like now tracing back like impulse purchases that I've made, and it's like, you know, I saw this one ad like forever. Like I'll give you an example. There's a free advertisement, but there's this company, Guardian Bikes, right? They make bikes.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, they make bikes for kids, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how I got on their list, but they just started siphoning me ads forever, and I just kept seeing them. I'm like, whatever, this fucking bike, you know, whatever. I eventually bought one of those bikes, and now my kid has it, and he loves it.
Yeah, that's how it happens. And there is a stat too, and I don't know the exact percentage, but it's 3% of people are ready to buy now, and I think it's like 80% are ready to buy.
That's 14%.
14%?
14% is in information gathering mode, and then the next 20% are ready to buy within the first 100 days to 100 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
you've got to be like down to ride for that long.
So the retargeting is massive.
Yeah.
That's why the organic is so powerful.
How long did it take you to buy that bike?
Yeah, like let's say months.
Yeah.
You know, months.
So that's why the retargeting is so powerful, and you know, constantly distributing every day, getting your message out there, eventually it compounds.
Yeah, it's funny because, so I said I do freelance Google ads, right? A big component of that is creating these different nuanced campaigns, right? So you've got your like shopping campaigns, the stuff that comes at the top of Google. Then you have your search campaigns, the in-feed stuff. Then you have your display like YouTube and whatever. Without a doubt, whenever I'm working with clients, I always prime them, and I'm like, listen, the first couple of weeks your ROAS is going to be, you know, kind of low. You're going to be at like a 2, 3, whatever, right?
Of course, yeah.
It's once we churn over, let's say, 5 to 10,000 clicks through your ads that you're going to start fueling your remarketing campaign like crazy. And the remarketing always comes in at like 5x what your standard ROAS is. Yeah. So if your normal ROAS is at like a 3.5 or something, you're going to get like an 8 or 9 or 10 on your remarketing. And it's always the case.
Or you need a lot of awareness marketing behind that as well. Like people don't understand that. It's like we're not in the age of 2008 anymore. You know what I mean? Like you need video content. You need content in general. Like content that just doesn't just have to be video. It could be static. It can be blogs. It can be you know, writing something or whatever. But like the more I consume, the next time I see your ad, it's way more powerful.
100%. And it's funny, like even when we talk about, you know, we mentioned AI and stuff before, in SEO, one of the biggest swings that's happening now is that we're finding that a lot of the platforms, they're querying YouTube more than they're querying regular Google results. Yeah. So if you're not publishing video content, or there is not published video content around your product, you're going to be almost invisible on AI platforms.
Take your own advice.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're
But dude,
spot
I
on.
have so many ideas for you already, man.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
we should definitely expand these conversations, no doubt.
Hell
Like
yeah.
I'm super intrigued with your guys' operation. And
dude,
how
you
make
guys
stuff work.
right off the bat, just gonna give you some like ideas, right? Like I would fucking play off the whole house thing.
Yeah.
Like what house you're in. If you're in this game, you're in this house, and people are like, "What the hell is a freaking, what is it, Curia?"
Yeah, what's a Curia knot?
Yeah, what's a Curia knot? You know what I mean? And then
it's like, I'm that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And then like I would do like some like this game versus this games, rank games, like have some people come in and
rate the best games within this tier.
Dude, that'd be so fire.
I'm here, like I'm so with you, but then I'm like, but now I gotta like produce this shit. You know what I mean? It's gotta like take time. True. It's all good ideas. Like. Yeah, maybe that's how I work with you guys. Maybe that's the thing.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
That's awesome.
But yeah, dude, this has been sick.
Yeah, it's been a great
conversation.
Yeah. So I appreciate the time you let me kind of wax poetic about my history.
Last question. So what do you got going on in the future that you're excited to?
Okay, so like next most immediate things, I always think about what's happening next. So this Saturday, we're dropping a new record for our company, jsquared.shop. We partnered with a company called Lily Mo Games. They have a new game coming out called Saint Slayer, Spear of Sacrilege. It's a Castlevania-like 2D platformer, and the soundtrack is awesome. We are so amped to launch this record, so that drops on Saturday. The next big swing that we have is in holiday season. We're going to be dropping our PlayStation 2 adapter. So if you don't follow EON Gaming already, you should absolutely follow us. This will be our biggest product ever. I'm so convinced of it. I'm like actually really stoked for how it's all going to pan out. And then the last thing is for Crit Rate, we're going to be at Bit Summit in Kyoto at the end of May. So if you're in Japan, if you're at Bit Summit, come say what's up, see me. We'll be there.
And where can they find you?
Yeah, so we're at critrate.io. That's our game recommendation platform. You can find us there. We're at jsquared.shop. That's our record label. If you have a startup and you're trying to seek venture capital funding, thelab.ventures, or you can just find me on LinkedIn or whatever. And and eongaming.tech if you're looking for retro stuff.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. And
appreciate you guys.
Really, this is awesome, man.
Yeah, it was super fun. Thank you for having me on.
Super excited for the gaming stuff, though.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Thank you,
we got to do a session at Shrames.
Yeah, 100%.
Beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, yeah, we'll see. I'll give you guys a run for your money. You don't know.
All right. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you, guys.